Like, that's a powerful tool that you can use anywhere in your life.
Love you guys.
Hello to my friends, and a very happy new year to you. It has been a minute since I made a video. Sorry about that, just haven't had a lot to say. But today I actually have something really important that I want to share with you that changed my life a few years ago. And I think it's important for you. The inspiration for this video came from Instagram actually, where I said, I was in the gym and I said, New Year, same me. And a lot of people took that as a bad thing. They were like sad for me and they were consoling me like, oh, it's okay, it's the New Year's, you can try again next year will be better. I was actually saying that as a celebration. I'm happy that I'm still who I am. And the very fact that people didn't understand that makes me really feel like this video is important. So it being the new year, a lot of you have New Year's resolutions. And we are now about 2 weeks into the new year, and statistically speaking, you have already failed. Let me tell you why. Here's the thing, I'm not completely against New Year's resolutions as a whole, but I want to explain to you why they often don't work and offer you a better alternative. You ready? Let's go. We all know the story. New Year's 2018. You have 20 extra pounds you want to lose, and you say, by next year, I will be 20 pounds lighter. But it got to this year, and your 20 pounds are still hanging around, and they may have acquired a few new friends. So why is it that you didn't succeed? Quick side note, I'm going to relate everything to fitness because it's something I know and have experience in, and I feel like the majority of us at some point have tried to get fitter in one way or another, so this will be relatable. But if your goals are not fitness, and they are to learn a new instrument, to have better finances, better relationships, maybe you want to start a business, whatever it is, everything I say will still apply to that. You just have to do some translating. But if your goals are fitness related, no translation needed, and I'm addressing you directly. Here we go. So there are many reasons that diets fail and that other goals fail. Really, I think the main issue is that people aren't expecting permanent change, and they're not changing their self-image. What do I mean by that? So someone on New Year's 2018 says, man, I'm 20 pounds overweight and I really don't enjoy this. I would like to lose this weight. So they start a diet, and maybe they're good for like the first month. Through January, they're just stellar. They're losing a pound a week, they feel great, they look great. Come the end of March, they have lost their 20 pounds, they're so happy with themselves, so they get off the diet because you don't need it anymore. And then December, your 20 pounds and a few extra friends are back. So ultimately it was a failure because you didn't keep the weight off. You didn't create lasting change. You did a thing that you were on, and then when you got what you wanted, you were off. It wasn't a permanent change to who you are. Contestants on that show, The Biggest Loser, 99% of them gain all, and most of the time more, of the weight back that they lose on that show because they haven't created lasting change. They've done a competition where, okay, I have to lose this weight. So they lose the weight. Later when they're revisited, they have all the weight and more back. On the flip side, you've seen people who are maybe very overweight, and they over time lost weight and kept losing weight, and they kept getting healthier, and they got stronger, and they got into fitness more, and it became part of their identity, and they've still kept all the weight off, and they're living a happy, healthy life. What's the difference between them and the Biggest Loser contestant? The difference is one is running off of motivation, and one is running off of habits. And it might not be who you think. The person running off of motivation is the Biggest Loser contestant who gains everything back. Because motivation is finite. Motivation is something we have for a moment, and we're not always going to have. As someone who was overweight as a child and lost the weight and has now maintained that weight loss over 6 years, and I've tried to improve my fitness over time, my health has gone to crap, but who cares about that? We're talking about fitness here. Two completely unrelated things in my case, by the way, so don't be afraid of getting fit. It will always benefit your health. But as someone who's been in this for 6 years, I would be lying to you if I said every day I wake up motivated to eat healthy and exercise. The majority of the days I'm not motivated. It's just habits. And I think that's the most powerful thing, is spend your motivation. If New Year's is motivating to you, if you have motivation from this whole New Year's resolutions thing, use that motivation not to try and power yourself through to the next year, because it's not going to last. If anything, like 3 weeks. I have never been motivated for 3 weeks in a row. That's like insanity. But if you are, cool. I'm glad for you. But use that motivation to create habits that will last, because a habit is something you fall back on regardless of whether you're motivated or not. If you have the habit of every day after work, you go to the gym, it's just a thing you do, and it'll become therapeutic. So instead of like, oh man, I feel down today, I don't feel motivated, I'm just gonna lay on the couch. It's like, oh man, I feel down today, I don't feel motivated, I'm just gonna go to the gym because I know I'm gonna feel better. Like, that's a powerful tool that you can use anywhere in your life. Maybe after work you're like, oh man, I'm just tired, I had a bad day, I wanna drive through Taco Bell and have 500 chalupas. Because dang chalupas. But if you have a habit of after work, going home and preparing your food yourself, which, by the way, is not that hard. A lot of people really overcomplicate that. If you're in that habit, that becomes therapeutic to you and it becomes your fallback. So even when you're not motivated, you'll still be doing the thing that gets you closer to your goal. So to apply this elsewhere, maybe your goals are in finance. Maybe you just make it a habit to every month put aside $100 and save it. Like, for most of you, it is likely that if you saved $100 a month, at the end of the year, you will have saved more money than you did the year prior. Like that the majority of people are not saving and investing. Maybe you want to get into investing in stock, precious metals, whatever it is you want to get into. Do that thing, just do it, but create a habit of it rather than try and motivate yourself to it all the time. For music, maybe you create a habit of every night before you watch Netflix, you just have your guitar or saxophone sitting by your couch and you play it for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes every day turns into more time. Like it feels like a little nothing, but 5 minutes every day after a year turns into quite a lot of time accumulated. Most likely more than you got this year trying to motivate yourself to practice for an hour and a half a day. That's not happening for most of us. Coffee time. Okay, so there's habits out of the way. I think that is a really powerful tool that you can take anywhere in your life and really see some amazing results from. But what I believe to be even more powerful, and something that will make you create habits without even thinking about it, make you do the right thing without even thinking about it, is your self-image. We all have an image of ourselves. We all have an idea of who we are and what we do. If I told you to picture yourself in your mind, how would you picture yourself? You would probably picture yourself as who, how, and what you are right now. Not what you want to be. And that's where you're broken. That's where you have essentially stopped yourself where you're at. It's a very American culture thing to assume that the future will be better than now. So we assume, oh, in the future I'll get a raise. In the future my grades will be better. In the future I'll be better at this. In the future I'll be fitter. In the future I'll be richer. But why? Like, what happened between now and then that would facilitate that kind of improvement? And you can just look at your life now. If you are the same now as you were years ago, and back then you were thinking, oh, the future's gonna be better, you know that doesn't work, and that just doesn't happen that way. Something has to change. What has to change is how you see yourself. Here's why. Let's call back the Biggest Loser contestant. Why did that person gain the weight back? Well, one, because they didn't have the habits in place to sustain that lifestyle long term. And I wouldn't, like, what they do is nuts. But the thing that really brought them back to where they began was their self-image. You can lose physical weight, but if you still see yourself in your mind as a fat person, as a glutton, as whatever it is you are now and don't want to be, then you'll never change, because your mind is a really powerful thing. Like, people underestimate this all the time. Our brains have like this autopilot mechanism in them that I'm just gonna call the lifestyle thermostat. Bear with me. So a thermostat, you say, I want to keep this house at 72 degrees. Too cold, but for the reasons of this analogy. 72 degrees. When the thermostat starts noticing like, oh man, it's getting kind of warm in here, we better kick the AC on. AC comes on, we come back down to 72. If it gets too cold, then it's gonna be like, oh, kick the heater on. Ah, now we're back to 72. You get the idea. Our self-images are like the 72 degree line. They're the thermostat. So if, say, you start losing weight, here's your 250 pounds, or 300 or 400, wherever you're at. Here's your baseline. The second you start losing weight, your brain's gonna say like, oh, kick on the heat. Eat more or move less, right? And you'll come back up to your line. You might go pretty far before it happens, but at some point you're gonna come back. That's just the way it's a survival reflex that our brains have that want to keep us in a state of what's called homeostasis, or in Latin, same stay. Stay the same, don't change. Maybe to apply this to your work life, if you're here and you're like, man, I want to be making more money by next year. You start working harder, you start doing better, you start earning more money, and then your brain says something like, oh man, you've done so good, you can take off the gas, you can be fine, now you're right back to where you were before. You're in the gym, you're like, oh man, here's your baseline, oh man, I'm getting stronger, I can take a break because I did so well, I've earned a break, now I'm back to where I was. Yeah. Squishy. Your brain will conjure up all these thoughts that keep you where you're at. So if you're doing well on your diet, you eventually say, oh man, I've done so good, I've earned a cheat day. Oh man, I've done so good, I don't need to go to the gym this week. You have these self-limiting thoughts that sound like self-care, and it is self-care. It's self-image care. It's caring for the self-image you hold. So change it. What if you align your self-image with the version of you that's fitter, with the version of you that is better? If you assume, or rather if you change your self-image to be the person you would rather be, then you're no longer forcing yourself to create these habits and to do the thing you know you need to do to get to where you want to be. You're not forcing yourself, you're allowing yourself, because duh, it's who you are. Duh, I'm gonna do better at work because it's who I am. I'm a productive person. Duh, I'm gonna get fitter. Duh, I'm gonna lose the weight and get stronger in the gym because I'm a fitness person. Duh, I'm gonna get better at my instrument because I'm a musician. That's me. So back to my Instagram post. Yeah, New Year, same me. I'm glad, because who I see myself as is someone far better than I might physically be right now, but I identify as that person that I want to be. I identify as the spiritual musician, talented, fit. Like I try to visualize that as who I am so that my actions will just fall in accordance with me. I don't have to force myself to do anything. It doesn't require motivation. It's just who I am. I think that's all I have to say. This one went on a lot longer than I expected it to. I thought it was just going to be a quick rah-rah, but there you are. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please share it with someone who you think could benefit from it, which anyone who doesn't understand this concept is lost. Anyone who doesn't understand this concept, I don't think is going anywhere. So I really think everyone can benefit from this. So please share it, and if you enjoyed it, please like the video, please comment below. I want to hear some of your resolutions, which, by the way, to get back to that, resolutions aren't a bad thing. If you are motivated by that, use that motivation to create better habits. I'm not saying I don't make resolutions, I do. I just make them part of who I am rather than something I'm going to force myself to do and get better at, because I don't have that kind of willpower. I just don't. So, comment down below how you want to improve yourself, and tell me who you are. Like, who do you really want to be? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.